let's get started.
This meeting is being recorded.
We're getting some feedback from you, John.
All right. Well, call to order at 7:04 this evening. And our first item on the agenda is the November minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look over them?
I have looked them over a couple of times. Looks okay to me, so I move that they be accepted. Approved.
Second.
All right. It has been moved and seconded to approve the November minutes. All in favor? All right. I looked down to take notes and I saw hands going down. Were there any opposed? I'm assuming there were all hands. All right. Then
Nope.
that motion passes.
But John
And-
does have to have input for us to make that quorum.
Oh, right. John, we can't see.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. And, oh, yes, I'm sorry. I know John takes the minutes. It's just a habit of mine that I like to write things down as we're going along too. So I want to make sure I get Megan down on my paper. Okay, so Russell's not here, so we'll have to table or save the treasurer's report for next month, hopefully. Has
No,
anyone- Oh, go
point
ahead.
of order.
Yes.
Russell sent out the treasurer's report for the last 2 months.
I didn't see it.
I will share my screen.
All right. Thank you, Larry. I just assumed he
Yeah.
hadn't. It didn't come my way for some reason.
There was no change for October, at the end of October. And for November,
Can you see that on my screen?
I can.
yes,
Okay. And then November,
yeah, and I emailed him and asked him about that 1881 PayPal dues. There was a person who paid $20 for dues. That's why there's an addition. Because I thought PayPal dues might be a subtraction, but PayPal does have a fee. That's why you see 1881 instead of $20.
Interesting.
So
we
that's
lose
the
a little bit.
explanation there, and so that all adds up. So I move that we approve both the October 31st and the November 30th treasurer's report for approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes.
We don't have Dan here tonight to abstain.
That's right. We don't. Meeting should fly by now. Gabe, website, social media update.
okay, so it has been just like it has in the past. It's pretty light. The addition of the Lidford Field watch group has been a nice boon to the rounding out of the local community things for interest. So it's good to see more interaction on that side. But as far as our website, I've been trying to help point some people to our website where the resources are, and we already have that page set up on the website for our watch, our neighborhood watch groups. They already have it set up to where this new watch group actually gets an email contact page as well. They have their own page on our site. So they're already set up and good to go. And then we're now up 17 more from 1800. We have 1817 people on the Facebook group as of today.
Okay.
We had to get rid of a couple of air duct cleaning scam people this month.
All right.
It's
They
always
were-
the air duct scams. I don't know why.
It was relentless. Like I was like, oh, there's another air duct cleaning company in the area. I was like, oh, I went to the website and I thought, I don't know about this. This is like the fourth one this month.
I'm at the point where I'm just going to delete on site now.
I think we probably should. Mm.
But that's all.
Okay. Then we'll move on. So Larry reported 8.5 volunteer hours for his work in Orange Gate Park. Was there anything you needed to add to that, Larry?
No, other than the weather towards the end of November kind of made it so that difficult to get out and do anything. However, I think it prevented some lack of illegal dumping. So the illegal dumping went down towards the end of November.
All right. Current business. I did not have a name next to this. Did anyone want to comment on the Pierce County Comprehensive Plan?
I don't have any updates since last month. They're still working, Pierce County's still working on all the elements that need to pull that together, and it'll be complete in 2024. I think in 2023 is when we'll see the draft plan along with the draft environmental impact statement. So no, nothing new.
All right. And the Canyon Road Northerly Extension update.
I can't remember what we talked about last month, but the Office of the County Engineer, who's the roads division working on that project, they went to the council to ask, they were getting approval to apply for a large grant to help pay for the project. And the council actually denied the request and is asking the county to go back and do some more studies to see if the project as designed still makes sense. So we will hear more in the coming months. I think that the team right now is just trying to figure out what that means and what studies are needed and what a project in the future might look like. So it's kind of all up in the air right now. They were going to do some outreach early next year, but I don't know what that's going to look like, and I don't know that they will. So we'll just wait to hear more.
The
Angela,
notes. Oh, go ahead, Don.
did you see the up article in the Tribune on the,
Mm-mm.
oh, wow, it was an editorial opinion, and I can't remember the editor that wrote it. It was very interesting. You'll have to look it up. It was questioning the thought process of the whole planning group regarding the Canyon Road extension. So
Oh, okay.
it was written very nicely, and I was really surprised what they had to say. So I was hoping maybe somebody else read it besides me, or I would have brought it up earlier to discuss. But if you don't get a link, I'll find it and send it to you.
I think I
Yeah,
found it.
that'd be great.
This
I
came
appreciate
a
it.
few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I'll
over
post it
the
in chat.
I think it might have been Sunday, and that article was written by Matt Driscoll
Yes,
for the
yes.
news.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Don, sometimes Matt Driscoll's work and the TNT articles, you can't pass them along because they're protected for subscribers. But
Mhm.
sometimes if you bring them up on the phone, you can screenshot them and then send them out to us with the text. I don't know if you could do that.
I could see that. I put it out in the chat here, but I'll email it to the board too.
All right.
And if you're in Megan, I can send it to you too.
All right. Yeah, I always liked him. That's the one thing I miss about not receiving the TNT anymore is Matt Driscoll's work. Okay, board position update.
Still on my to-do list.
All right, I'll write it down. No problem.
Yeah, I just I have a new job at work. So it's been a hectic couple of weeks and will be a very hectic few months. So it's on my list. I look at it
So-
every day and I'm like, I gotta do this.
I poured out my hecticness to Dawn a couple weeks ago on the phone, so I completely understand.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It'll happen when it happens. It's okay.
I mean, if someone else really wants to do it and they have the time for it, I'm happy to have someone else do it, but it is on my list. I will get to it.
No worries. This just has to go on the agenda so you can say
Okay.
it's on my to-do list.
Okay.
And then, so we're all on the same page. I asked Mark, because that's what my assignment was last month, whether he wanted to continue as an alternate. And he said that he was fine continuing. However, if we found somebody that might want to take the spot, like if we found if we found someone who was really wanting to just be more involved than he was, then he would relinquish it. He was open to doing that, and he's the one that said that. I didn't like hint at it. I just asked. I don't know how I stated it at the time, but I asked very nicely about how he was feeling about being a board alternate, and that was his response. So just so you all know what it was. And then
Jen,
yeah,
I think it's appropriate. I mean, it's perfectly okay for individual board members to, on a one-to-one basis, talk to people in the community to try and get them to maybe consider a board position or an alternate position.
certainly.
the
I
second
do all the
thing-
time.
The second thing is, I thought we were holding that board position for a member of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. And
Well, that's what he brought up. He said, that would be another thing that if we, because we can't hold something indefinitely if it never happens. And, if we never find anybody, we can't just hold that spot, but we could hold the alternate spot, and that's what he was saying. He'd be willing to relinquish that if we needed it.
sure. Well, and also it's possible that if we do fill that board position with someone, which I hope we do soon, if in fact it comes back that the Puyallup Tribe of Indians would like to have a member on our board, I suppose they could be an alternate until there's an opening.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I agree. Any thoughts from anyone else? All right. T-shirts are on Larry's to-do list also. He's also not felt well and has been busy and all that. So let's move to E, Pierce County Council Resolution 2022-160. Larry, that was you.
Just one comment about the T-shirts,
Oh, okay.
because I had a head and chest cold, and it's still kind of hanging on. Angela had warned me that it might take 3 weeks or more to get over it, because she is familiar with people who have had colds that just seem to go on and on. And then I got an ear infection, and so I'm dealing with that. And well, just the last week I've been feeling pretty good, but I haven't had time really to meet with Angela to go over and order the shirts. We do have your sizes. We have sizes for everybody. we've decided that we're probably going to order some extras. So for probably a total of about 15 shirts. Angela talked with, I think it's Mark from VisiPrint, and he sent her a link. She sent me the link, and we can look over the colors of the shirts. But I think possibly maybe I know Angela's busy with her. Is it a promotion, Angela? Yeah. Okay. Congratulations. But then again, you
Thank
got
you.
more on your plate. So
Yeah.
maybe we can get together before Christmas and order these shirts, and maybe they'll, I don't know, come in for our in-person meeting in January. I don't know about that, but
Okay.
we'll see. They're t-shirts. I'm not sure they're going to be appropriate for winter time, but
How about if we
can
aim
always
for
wear
our
something on the-
in-person meeting in June?
yeah. You make a good point. Maybe we're not in a big rush to get those t-shirts, but I just want everybody to know that the process is moving along. And moving on to resolution number R 2022-160. I was kind of hoping that Marty might be with us tonight, but that was a resolution that passed on the 29th of November by a 6-1 margin. And the resolution, it will be establishing the Illegal Dumping and Littering Reduction Task Force. And the purpose of the task force will be creating the Pierce County Illegal Dumping Littering Reduction Action Plan. So over the next year, the sunset clause on this is December 31st of 2023. So the task force will have to have a plan by that time, and it will establish the scope of the plan, state the funding intent, and setting report back and sunset dates for the task force. That will include, the plan will make recommendations and provide guidance to Pierce County in addressing the following: engaging community partners, individuals, businesses, local nonprofits, churches, and civic organizations in voluntary community cleanup efforts. That's important for the Summit Waller Community Association. So I'm assuming that we will be contacted. Maybe even asked to, I don't know, we may be asked to participate in part of this task force. I don't know. Increasing community participation in the Adopt a Road program. We're already doing that. Identifying Pierce County staffing levels within various departments necessary for effective enforcement and cleanup efforts targeting illegal dumping and littering reduction. Identifying potential new sources of dedicated and sustainable revenue to further fund efforts to reduce illegal dumping and reduce littering. And then there's a section that talks about the following Pierce County entities are requested to designate participants for the Illegal Dumping and Littering Reduction Task Force. So the District Court, Probation Division, Planning and Public Works Department, their Code Enforcement Division, also their Road Divisions, and their Solid Waste Management Division, the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, the Civil Division, the Sheriff's Department, Patrol Division. That's important for us as far as Orange Gate is concerned. Each Pierce County entity may designate one member and one alternate member in addition to the entities noted above. The Office of the Pierce County Council and the Office of the Pierce County Executive may also designate a staff member to participate on this task force as needed. Each of the following non-Pierce County entities have been invited or will be invited to designate a member to participate and contribute to the Illegal Dumping and Littering Reduction Task Force. That would be solid waste from the city of Tacoma, the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, Washington State Department of Ecology, the Washington State Department of Transportation. So besides that, they'll be coming up with a plan on how to reduce the amount of illegal dumping and littering. So I'm sure people will have some ideas on signage and maybe penalties for illegal dumping. People might have input about that to their Pierce County Council member, perhaps, or to this task force. Once it gets established, there may be a portal by which people can offer their suggestions. But I thought that was important to bring up because it's something that will impact all of Pierce County, including the, of course, the Summit Waller community. And just let you know that there is a task force that's being formed to come up with a plan. So there you go. I was hoping maybe Marty might be on here, could explain that a little bit further, but I printed up the resolution itself, so I think I pretty much pointed out just about everything. If you go to the agenda for Pierce County Council meetings, you can go back to November the 29th. You can go back to this resolution and you can click on the documents and you can see what the whole resolution is. I would encourage more of you, like on Mondays, Sunday or Mondays, to go to Pierce County Council meetings and check out what's on the agenda for their Tuesday meetings. It's important that our board members are up to date on what's going on within Pierce County Council meetings, because what they pass can and does affect the Summit Waller Community Association.
You're right. At one point, I had joined the League of Women Voters to just get more involved with things, especially during COVID. I thought I'd have a lot more time. And I signed up to actually watch the council meetings and report on them. I found myself relying on watching the video, and the video was not user friendly. So I was to try to pause it and to try to rewind it. In most formats, like what we're used to using commonly, YouTube or Netflix or whatever, that's a really easy, but whatever they are using with the council, it's really difficult to do. And so I wasn't doing a very good job. And then I was told it was a conflict of interest at this point. So I am gracefully not having to go and do those reports. But now I don't have anything like, I mean, it helps that Larry says that, because that makes it kind of gives me that little bit of a nudge to maybe go get that done. Whereas I don't have that nudge with the League of Women Voters any longer, since it's a conflict of interest. Anyway, thank you, Larry.
Welcome.
I'm sort of curious as to which council member voted against it.
I think it was Kruger.
I wonder why. I'll have to go watch. Maybe she said it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay. Okay, so Larry, you're up again. You're letter F.
Okay, the next resolution, 172, the evening district number 5 council meeting will be on the 14th, and that's a Wednesday. That'll be next Wednesday. It's at the Eastside Community Center. You know, that's at the corner of 56th then and Portland. It's a really nice facility. If you've never been in that facility, you really need to go and see it. It is important that one or more people from this board goes to the District 5 evening meetings to support our Pierce County Council member. And in the last several years, I've been the only one that's been in attendance, which bothers me a bit. I know we're all very busy people, but Marty, this year in particular, who has been at our Zoom meetings on a fairly regular basis? It's been Marty Campbell.
Mhm.
So we need to support him at his meeting. Those meetings tend to be really short. Marty Campbell's given the gavel to run the meeting. There's an evening meeting in each of the 7 districts at least once a year. This month is Marty Campbell's turn. The location isn't that far away. I would encourage you to join me on the 14th at, well, let's see, what time is it? 6 p.m. I think, yeah, 6 p.m. If possible, at the Eastside Community Center. It's a nice facility. Really should go there. And I did that when Rick Talbert was our Pierce County Council person. It's just, if you want their support, you need to support them whenever possible. And this is one event that that's in our community, that we can support our Pierce County Council person, because we want to have a good working relationship with the Pierce County Council person and their assistant. And Marty has a new assistant now, and she will be there as well. So it's important that we introduce ourselves in person to his assistant, so that she knows who we are.
Mhm.
Because when you make a phone call to Marty Campbell's office, who do you get? The
Sabrina.
assistant. Yep, Sabrina. So I'm anxious to meet Sabrina, and I hope that there'll be some of you also there to meet Sabrina and support Marty Campbell. That's all.
Thank you, Larry. So next is the Waller Road curve, which we haven't brought up in, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. And
Yeah.
I am having quite a few neighbors who were upset. There were 2 horrific accidents in the past week. And I did go out to look at the damage on both of them. I was around. I never actually see them, but the first one, I guess the guy got out of the car and took off, tried to outrun the accident. And so that's one of the complaints, that this isn't the first time this has happened, is that sometimes they get out and they try to run. And so they're running through people's yards, and people have, livestock and pets and children, and it's disturbing to have them taking off like that and going onto private property. And then the traffic is backed up. People can't get in their driveways. My dad, fortunately, the police let him through my driveway, or he wouldn't have been able to get to his driveway. And he's an older man. He can't just hang out in his car. My mom needs him for health purposes, and he can't be gone for very long. And 3 years ago, there was a fatality, and per Barbara Benson across the road, the lady died in her arms basically, and then Barbara had to find a home for the dog that was in the car. Yeah. I mean, all these things. The last couple of days ago, when I got a call from one of the neighbors saying there was another accident, the woman, she wasn't even distraught that she had caused a man. She was in a little sedan, and she caused his car to turn around, and then somehow he lost both of his tires in this truck, a good sized truck. And she wasn't even concerned. She was, and then they found meth in her pocket and arrested her. And not only that, but every day I go down and the speed is worse. They're running, you know, they have those nice freshly painted borders so that you can know where your lane is and nobody drives in them. And it's the first time in all these years living here where I feel like it's dangerous to get my mail because they're constantly running onto the shoulder. They're speeding so fast around the curb. And then my girlfriend got upset and called Pierce County twice to ask that the greenery and the shrubbery be cut back. And they told her it was the homeowner's responsibility. And I don't know how many of you can remember 5 years ago when I complained about this and they told me it was their responsibility and I shouldn't be out there cutting it. So that's a head scratcher. So I guess I was just looking for, my friend is really mad. The neighbors are not happy. So I was coming to let you know what was going on. Maybe at the next meeting, we might talk about writing a letter of some sort like we did previously. But, you know, I think whoever is in charge of engineering, and I think it's worth looking at this road section and seeing if there's a way to do something. And Jennifer Dvorak is going to pull the traffic accident reports and go through them. She wanted to get these last couple accidents on it, so she's waiting for a couple more weeks so that she gets it, and she wanted to analyze it and then go. She's thinking about going to the county herself. And that's where I'm at. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention since it's a neighborhood thing.
Yeah, I've been riding down Waller Road a lot more recently, and I could say a majority of the time, if not almost every time, I get passed when I'm going less than 40.
Mm-hmm.
And just, yeah, it's crazy. People get really anxious. So I don't have an answer. I just want to throw my 2 cents in with it. It's not just the curves. It's the whole road. People are using it as a major thoroughfare, and 35 is just not good enough for them.
Thank you. I don't know what it is, but it seems worse. I really haven't complained to you about it for a few years. I thought the sign that we got put up together would help a little bit. I thought the road paving would help a little bit. I thought when they were, for a while, it seemed like they were shearing the bushes. It felt for a little while that it was better, and now it doesn't. It seems markedly worse, although I have no proof. You know, I don't sit out there with the speed check, nor did I at any other point. You know, it just seems that way to me.
What you're defining, in my opinion, is not a road design problem. It's an enforcement problem. Period. If there's no enforcement, then it becomes a political problem. That's your avenue. That's the course of resolution.
Okay.
Jen, I would agree with Don. It is an enforcement issue. So what sort of action steps could you and your neighbors take? Well, on the 14th, when Marty Campbell has his meeting in our community at the Eastside Community Center, each person in attendance has 3 minutes to state whatever they want to. If 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of your neighbors are at that meeting and each of them takes their 3 minutes to talk about enforcement and maybe who's responsible for, ask Marty to look into who's responsible really for taking out the vegetation because you're getting mixed signals. You know, there's all kinds of things that people could say, but I think you have an event coming up that you can flood that event with people from your neighborhood right there at the curve to voice their frustration, their anger, their maybe possible solutions, especially when it comes to enforcement. If a person's going 40 miles an hour and you're being passed, Don's right and John's right, that's illegal. And since we've had 2 recent bad accidents there, it would warrant maybe Marty's pressure on the sheriff's department to get sheriff's deputies out there and start writing tickets to people.
Yeah, the other thing that you could incorporate in a presentation, that meeting, if you go down to Pioneer at the bottom of the hill and look for the black tire marks, the circles in the middle of the intersection, the circles in the middle of Waller and 64th, any intersection, photograph those and present them with evidence of non-compliance with the local law.
Do you have any pictures of the 2 accidents? Did anybody take any
do.
pictures?
I took pictures.
Okay,
Mhm.
you can make copies of those and present those. Yeah, each person has 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right, I just want to
Thank
play
you.
devil's advocate here because I've tried to have my hand up for. So be careful what you wish for, because you might end up with a Canyon Road project on your hands, so they can widen it and so it can support more traffic. You might have eminent domain take away property. So just be careful about how you go about it, because sure, I mean, enforcement's gonna be the first step, but if they can't find any resolution, they might just widen the thing because it
Right.
is an arterial route.
And I have discussed that with the neighbors, and at this point, they feel that if it saves lives, then it's worth it to lose a little bit of the property if that's what they will do.
Yeah, a well-coordinated 3 minutes from each person. You know, each person says something a little bit different or comes up with a different idea. You know, Marty's been trained to ignore emotional outbursts. Sometimes they lead to things that people say that they, after their meeting's over with, they wish they hadn't said. You know, he's going to be looking for, what do you want me to do?
Mhm.
That's what he's going to be wanting to hear from me. What do you want Marty Campbell to do for you? If people can come up with 4 or 5 different things that you would like Marty Campbell to do, he's going to be writing those things down. And each person needs to be prepared, and they need to be calm, and they need to focus their comments to who's got the gavel, and the person having the gavel is Marty Campbell for that night. So you're talking to the person that you want that person to do something for you.
Mhm.
So maybe somebody to talk for 3 minutes about the background of what the problem has been historically, what the county has done so far, which appears not to be sufficient enough. Maybe somebody talk about enforcement. Somebody else talk about the 2 accidents with pictures. We need your help, and be diplomatic about it.
Prepared in writing is the best. Is short little blurb with facts, stripped of all the emotional things like Larry's saying, and practice to make sure you stay within 3 minutes, because it's easy to get off track and ramble and then lose the point.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll see what the
when I
neighbors
was-
say.
When I was chairman of the Waller Road Land Use Advisory Commission, and then again, when it was merged with others to be the Mid-County Land Use Advisory Commission, I was the first chairman of both of those. And all comments need to be directed towards the chairman. And you'd be surprised, people call me names. They're very emotional. And in our training, I was trained to ignore that.
Mm.
You're trained to listen to rational comments and rational ideas and rational requests.
Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I will present it to the people who live in the neighborhood who I've spoken with, who have been out there at the accidents and have been complaining, and we'll see if they show up.
And I think maybe if that, doesn't become effective, then we could consider revisiting the letter that we've sent before and the information that your friend is putting together too. That might be something we could consider again in January or February. Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
just gotta you just gotta keep poking, keep poking, keep
Yeah,
poking.
and I stopped poking for a few years. And all right, so letter H, the SWCA contact by Julie Donato, and a request that we post her information onto our website. So 2 of you responded that it wasn't appropriate because she was what she was asking was for profit. And I already admittedly mentioned that didn't even cross my mind, as I don't recall this ever coming up in our meeting. So I just didn't even think in that direction. And I sent a response out to acknowledge that she had contacted us twice, and I hadn't, because I didn't respond to her the first time because it went on my to-do list and I didn't get to it quickly. And then she sent out another request. And so I was like, oh, let me get this done. And I typed something out really quickly that said, we'll discuss, and I copied you all on it. And then I started to hear, oh, that I made a mistake here. So I apologize. And Angela suggested we still bring it up to discuss and lay down the guide rules so we're all on the same page. I really didn't even realize the profit nonprofit thing. It didn't cross my mind, as it hadn't ever come up that I could remember. And so if we discuss these things now, then everyone will know for the future. It won't just be me learning it. But so go ahead.
So
Yeah,
I was just,
I looked through our bylaws, and there's nothing specific about any of that as we move into the social media age. But if you take a look at our mission statement, and we are a civic organization, not an advertising agency for for-profit businesses.
Mhm.
Certainly we can post educational information about governmental agencies that provide services for people in Pierce County and the Summit Waller area. But I think we would be opening up a dangerous door if we started to put on our website and Facebook page links to for-profit businesses.
Yeah.
As it stands now, the only, I wouldn't call it gray area because it's still a county facility, but the Mid-County Community Center, that's the only non-government service organization that we have on there. Everything else is police, cleanup crews, police departments, school districts. There's not one thing other than the Mid-County Community Center that's mentioned. And even they are still a government entity. So yeah, I agree with you, Larry, that we need to be very careful not slippery. Even if they are a nonprofit, nonprofits can be all sorts of things, and that can open up another slippery door.
Yeah.
well, and I was looking at their website and they're not even based in Washington State. So I was kind of like, well, maybe if they were a local organization that was more focused. I realize their stuff's online and anyone can access it, but if you look at their website, they're like Florida and New Jersey or something. So I'm like, doesn't really make sense. And I think we should be pushing for the Crystal Judson Family Center instead of this particular a resource for domestic violence, since that's Pierce County specific. So
We don't even have
I tried
Amara
to
or the Waller Grange on there.
no, we don't.
Mm.
Yeah.
I looked
Um,
through to see if she was an employee, like if she was local, if there was a picture of her that said she was from this area. So I was wondering how she found us to contact us, and I couldn't find her on the website at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a to know, period. There's a lot of nonprofit free services available in Pierce County for those that need to seek it out. So I would, if you need to even respond to her, I'd tell her, thank you, but we're not interested, period. I would decline her request for membership. I don't think she's a resident of our community. She's looking for dollar signs.
We haven't heard back from her since.
Mhm.
It showed her, I sent her a link to the website. I haven't
Yeah,
heard
that's where
anything
she got
since.
our contact us from, the form.
Mhm. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I just when I saw you asking the question, I thought, well, let's, rather than, I didn't know how many people you had heard. I know it's getting responses via email for our group can be difficult. So I thought, well, while we're on the meeting, let's just talk it through and then make the decision and move on. So thank you for entertaining the conversation.
I think that, even though the group might be a well-meaning group and do some good things, she was just looking for some free advertisement.
Mhm.
So you said something that occurred to me, Larry, in that it wasn't in the bylaws, and that the bylaws were done quite a while ago, and social media.
Well, we have revised them recently, but, this particular kind of topic has, I'd have to think about whether there's something that we could put in the bylaws that would address something like that. If any of you have any ideas, go ahead and float them to me. I have all the bylaws on, I think we all have all of the bylaws saved on our computers, so at least I hope so.
I have a paper copy only.
Okay,
That's okay by me. But
maybe
this
I
might
could,
be something
maybe I
we need
should
to
send out.
look into doing. Yes? Larry?
Yeah, we'll see,
Okay.
it may not be necessary to do that right away, but we can certainly start to look into it. I don't want to be the only one to look that over again. I would encourage each one of you to look at the bylaws and see whether you think there's a need to put anything in there. I was thinking, the Deslin Boys Ranch, that was Chelsea Talbert was working there, and she was connecting up with our community association on a regular basis. And before she went to be Marty Campbell's assistant. Haven't heard, what was the name of that business? It was an adoption
Amara.
assistant.
Amara.
Yeah, Amara, right.
Mhm.
I'm not sure whether Amara was a nonprofit or for-profit, but I'm not sure. We went to tour their facility, and it is located in the Summit Waller area, and we wanted to support. We always want to support businesses that are in the Summit Waller community, but I don't think we advertised for had a link on our website that went to Amara.
Mm,
Uh,
Mm.
I don't think so, but I think Amara is probably a for-profit entity. I think they're still there, but we haven't
Mhm.
heard anything from them since before the pandemic set in. So I don't know whether, and when I go by that facility, I don't see any activity there. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But that wasn't, that would have been the only maybe for-profit business that may have approached us to put a link on our website to their business. And we would have had to discuss it at that time. But that hasn't happened, but that's just an example of a business that does a lot of good for the community that may want to approach us to support them with a link.
They,
We
as
may
Megan
have to
pointed out, they are a 501c3. They are a nonprofit.
They're nonprofit. Okay, all
Yep.
right.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks for checking.
I also sent out the bylaws to everyone in PDF format. The
Thank
last
you.
update you
Thank you,
guys did
Gabe.
in 2020, yeah.
It just points out to me that I do backflips that Gabe walked in on our meeting at this Mid-County Community Center a few years ago and said, your website sucks. And I can, hallelujah.
Thank thank goodness.
Thank
So
the,
great.
thank the digital gods, right? Yeah, I'm your I'm your digital guy.
So he didn't just say that it stunk, he also offered a solution. and it's
Yes.
in.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd like to refer to him as Saint Gabriel.
Archangel, remember? Come on, you know, Larry.
Archangel. Yeah, that's right.
Archangel.
That's right. We had that discussion.
All right. Well, we are now to announcements. Do we have any announcements?
Reminder next month. Sorry, not next month. January is our in person.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At the Mid-County Community Center. Yes.
I have a question. Maybe I tuned in just a hair late. Would you introduce our guest, Jen, and maybe our guest
Oh.
could tell us a little bit about herself and why she has joined our meeting tonight?
Oh, you did throw in a hair late. So Megan McDonald
Yeah,
is.
I'm happy to introduce myself, Jen. You don't have to do it for me. I'm really
Okay,
good at
thanks.
talking. Yeah, so my name is Megan McDonald. I am involved in the Lidford Neighborhood Watch Group. I help organize that. I also am on the Waller Road PTO. I just joined the Waller Grange. So we moved here about 3 years ago, and right like in the midst of the pandemic, or right before the pandemic hit, rather. And so just really wanting to dig in to the community and get involved as much as I can. I have 2 young boys and we plan on being here for a while. And so I want to make it the best community I can for my kids and obviously for myself and my neighbors and all that kind of thing. So I met Gabe in person at the, it was a Grange, or was it the Waller, was it the Grange meeting or the Lidford meeting?
That was the neighborhood watch.
I make so many
It's
trips to
all
the
at the
Grange
Grange.
now.
So yeah.
I know. I just make so many trips to the Grange now. I forget. Anyway, so I met Gabe in person and had I'm active on the social media site. So he invited me to come to this meeting to kind of check it out and see what's going on and maybe see how I could be involved. So that's who I am. So I do PR for a living, just so everybody knows, like I'm a communications person, like that's kind of my forte. And so that's where I've kind of fit my skill set in with the, with the school and with the Lidford group, that sort of thing. I do help manage their social media and, email and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that I am probably as, obviously Gabe has some skills that I don't have, but communication is what I do for a living. So I communicate well. I actually work for a Medicaid MCO, so I know about Amara because we actually were the insurer for the foster kids across the state. So
Mm.
I know about that organization. So
Thank you for coming.
oh yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I was
Thank
really
you for having
excited to hear about the Lidford Neighborhood Watch. I know there was some talk about it, and then people finally did it. So that's awesome. That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah. Erin Hinman is she's the, I don't know, the cap. I don't know what to call her, the captain, the whatever. She's really the one who's been the driving force behind it. She, personally had some issues with the house right across the street from her, and they have eradicated that. So we feel like we're making some good progress and happy about how things are moving. I mean, we got the place at end of the park, and that's really been instrumental in. Now we want the park to be the best thing it can be, and we want our neighborhood around that to be the best it can. So this is kind of obviously a larger organization. But like I said, we're going to be here for a while. I've got little kids, so we're not going anywhere.
Nice.
Well, we do have an open board position. If you want to overextend yourself.
I have heard that, and it's not overextending. I actually had a really great talk with my mentor about this the other day, because I was like, there's all these really great things, and she's like, you need to be where you can make the most impact, and like that's kind of where I'm at. Like I can lend my services to other places, but I want to be involved where I can make the most impact and where my skill set will make the most impact. So it's definitely a consideration. I don't know what you guys are looking for in a board member. I don't know if I'm that person or not, but it's definitely a consideration, something I'm considering. So
well, you have a heartbeat and you can talk, so that's kind of meeting the minimum criteria. Like the bar is not super high.
And you live in the community and have an interest in helping it.
yes.
I'll go a couple
things
steps farther, Angela.
And you, being a woman, you help balance us out a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We do like to have, people our board members spread out amongst the community. I know Gabe is in the southern part of your neighborhood. Jen is over on Waller Road. Dan Hare is over on Waller Road as well. John Goodspeed is on the south end of Waller Road, near 512, or 104th, excuse me. And I'm on the northern end of Orange Gate on 80th Street, just west of Canyon Road. Dawn is on Canyon Road in about the 9900 block, so just at the top of the hill there. Let's see, who else? Mark, our alternate, is over on Waller Road, and he's over on 24th Avenue on the western edge of the Summit Waller Community Association. So yeah, we'd like to pick up an alternate east of Canyon Road between Canyon Road and Woodland. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost our one
So,
board
yeah.
member that was on the east side of there, but Angela's south off 104th. So
Well, I'm
And
not
we-
planning on moving, so I'm just kidding.
know.
Can't I just pick up my house and move it over there?
yeah, you're
We
good.
have developed a
Yeah.
good working relationship with governmental people, especially our Pierce County Council people, whether they be Democrat or whether they be Republican. We've worked with them. We have a fair amount of traction in the in Pierce County. And we try to go to as many meetings as possible if necessary. Yeah, it's a good group. We've been organized since 1993.
That's what I've heard. I've heard very good things about this group. So for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean,
That's good to-
yeah, we have a vested interest in keeping this area the way it is. And, because obviously we live here and our school's here and, that sort of thing. And now I work here because I work from home as everybody else does. So I didn't used to be able to say that, but now I do. I work here too.
Well, we started off primarily as a land use kind of group, helped formulate community plans, Initially, we wanted the whole Summit Waller area to be 1 acre minimum lot size, which we got. And then when the state imposed its state land use plan, we had to, in order to stay rural with an R, we had to accept 5 acre minimum lot size, but we eventually got that changed to where we're a unique rural separator zone, and you can actually apply to have two dwellings on 5 acres. So, some people were upset about that because they wanted to divide up their land and give it to their children when they later on in life, and some people weren't happy with that. But when you're working with government, there's good things and bad things that can happen, and you have to make choices.
Sure.
Otherwise, we would have been urban. We would have been in the urban
Right.
category of land use, and we didn't want that, because then you can bring in sewers and there'll be higher development and all that. But in order to keep Waller Road semi-rural, we had to accept a rural tag, and 5 acre minimum lot size was it. We helped to establish Orange Gate Park. We've gotten street lights all over the place. I know people want to keep the rural area dark, but they're at various crucial intersections. We have gotten street lights put up. Trying to help Don with his compression brake issue on Canyon Road. The signs are up, but enforcement is an issue there. So if you have any questions.
Ask
I-
Larry.
At
Yeah.
this point, I don't have any questions. I feel like I have a lot of information and I really appreciate it. And I'm definitely interested. So thank
Yeah,
you
you can
guys
go on a
for-
walk with him in Orange Gate Park while picking up trash. I'm sure he'd appreciate
yeah,
that too.
well, and actually I was gonna say, we were actually talking last night about we're trying to do like a event calendar next year for the Lidford Neighborhood Watch, and wanting to do some service things, and talking about doing like the park cleanup, but we could also focus our efforts elsewhere too, if we could, organize a group. But anyway, I don't want to hold anybody up by talking about the
Well,
other
since
stuff.
you're
but-
talking about Lidford, we've requested and gotten past a street light to be placed at 60th.
I was gonna actually ask about that. That happened.
Has the street light been put up?
I don't think so. That's what
Yeah.
it got passed, but it hasn't been put
There-
up yet.
The county has approved these street lights, but they're about 2 years behind in actually putting them up. So that might be
Yeah.
another thing I might want to ask Marty Campbell on the 14th.
I actually think that we're gonna organize a group from the Lidford Neighborhood Watch to come and talk at that meeting, so that we can, because
Cool.
I was actually set, my one goal for today was to come and ask about that street light. So I got my answer. I appreciate it. And we know now where to go, whose tree to bark up. So I appreciate that. I will probably be
It's
there on the
like-
14th.
Like Jen over here has wanted a street light at 48th and Waller Road, and that got approved twice. It got approved twice, but Tacoma Power said there's not enough room on the pole with all the wires. We can't put a street light up there. So then we requested to have money set aside to actually put another pole up, kitty corner to that intersection to put a street light up, but haven't seen it yet.
That's what I was
Yeah.
mentioning in the neighborhood watch, where there is talks about it. It's just the poles are too full.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that sounds like a
I-
good thing for our council, or, our council representative to fight for us for, because that's, his job.
Mhm.
Megan, I wanted to let you know Larry's been the president of the board up until just 2 years ago. He was the president many, and he's been on the board and a part of it for many years. So
Awesome.
he is the one to ask the questions.
Awesome. Yeah, I think at this point, like I said, my streetlight question got answered. So not to be pushy about it, but that was my question. They were like, "Oh, you're going to the board meeting. Ask about the streetlight." I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, does anyone have anything else before we adjourn?
I think
Well,
so.
then, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Yar.
Don?
All right.
Good night.
I,
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
seconded
Thanks
it?
for,
everyone.
who
Good night.
seconded?
thanks for
Don did.
attending.
Okay.
See you at the meeting on the 14th at the Mid
Yes.
East Side.
Yep,
Community.
I will be there, Larry.
I put it on my
Put-
calendar too.
It's on my
Oh,
calendar.
great. I applaud all of you.
Is our recording off